several of them hinged on a kiss, where all of a sudden that would have sort of soul consequences for the soul of the kisser, and so they developed around the theme, and they never really had any. They were even shorter, and so I sort of did develop them longer for the book when we thought that maybe that could be a book. And my husband thinks that Goblin Fruit should be a novel and that we should see what happens next. But I don't really know what happens next, but that could be fun. And then I think Hatchling, which is the novella in it, which is about immortals who are trying to sort of regrow their own souls by incubating in human hosts. Which that sounds kind of creepy. It isn't creepy at all. I think it's complete as it is, but I'm really interested in. I could imagine doing more stories about the Druge, about those immortals, and But I have some other short stories that I've done that sort of have a central theme in the same way that I would like to do like another book of stories and novellas that would be more about courtship, I think, than kissing, and so maybe I'll get to do that. I just need to be a faster writer, basically. Yes. Anybody else? You didn't think you were going to have to ask the questions, right? Yeah. Okay.
Try not to be spoilery. So I read news in Haze and gobbled it up, and the ending excited me massively. And I'm just wondering about the next book.
And you've read The Daughter's Book of Bone?
Yes.
Yeah. So was I really doing that thing there? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
So you can read Strange and Muse without having read Daughter's Book of Bone trilogy, but if you have read the Daughter's Book of Bone trilogy, it's kind of like you're wearing special glasses that let you see invisible things, I think. And so there is a lot more is suggested at the end if you have read Daughter. And I'm not working on a crossover now, but certainly set it up with the hope to be able to do it someday. I don't know who the main character would be. I don't think it would be any of the existing characters. I think it would be somebody new, and I don't know how many years would have passed, but it's really exciting to think about. It's still just in a very early. I'm hoping that my back brain will be working on that and like developing those ideas while I work on some other stuff, and maybe it'll like write the whole book while I'm not paying attention. I think it works like that, right? Hopefully.
One more question.
Thank you. I can see you guys better now.
I got one more question.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of kissing scenes in your books.
A lot of
kissing scenes in your books, and of course there are favourites. What was your favourite one ever?
My favourite kissing scene ever?
Yeah, that you've written.
I don't know. I mean, I like writing kissing scenes too. And when I wrote Night of Cake and Puppets, which is the Mick and Susanna novella, and it was so sort of fun and easy and effortless to write that I did wonder why I don't only write kissing books. But you know, maybe the first real kiss between Laszlo and Sarai, I definitely remember.
Yeah. She hasn't read it yet.
Well, I can't say, I don't know that I would call it a real kiss, actually. Not necessarily corporeal, but you know what I'm talking about. It's
one of my favorites.
If that happens. I really remember writing that scene and it being quite long and fun to write.
I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So, is Calixto really an assassin? And how's the real name of Wheat pronounced?
The real name of Wheat?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's probably spoilery, so
Oh, that's true.
ask me
Sorry,
after.
I will ask you later.
Yeah.
But is the Calixto thing a spoiler as well? Because she always... Calixte?
Oh, Calixte.
Is she really an assassin?
I just I think with the microphone I can... Is she really an assassin? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Is Calixte really an assassin? I think she's probably done some stuff. I could see that. I don't really have like a full fleshed out backstory for Calixte. I like the idea of not knowing exactly what's true about her, but yeah. But I think that she would have had to take care of herself for sure. Yeah. I don't know that she's really an assassin though. What do you think? You want? Yeah?
She looks badass. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi.
Hi. This is more of an all-round question, but for aspiring writers or people who want to someday be writing their own books, what would be your number one piece of advice to give them?
What would be my number one piece of advice for aspiring writers? I think my number one piece of advice for aspiring writers is to learn how to finish things and to cultivate a habit of completion early on, because I did not, and I have a lot of struggles with perfectionism, and what this means for me, and I think a lot of people, young writers especially, maybe won't have the language to describe what their creative issues are, what might make writing hard or not necessarily fun for them. So for me, it's just the kind of brain that I have. Gets really obsessed with making things really perfect before I should, and so it makes it really hard to move forward because there's this big part of my brain that's always trying to drag me backward to fix what I've already done and to make it better, and it is of course impossible to do anything perfect, so it ends up creating this pattern where you just never move forward. And so for many years I had not developed strategies yet to continue to move forward and learn how to finish things, and so it was really, really difficult. And I think a lot of people give up, or they think that because it's hard, because it's not fun, that they're not meant to be a writer, or they're not a real writer, because if they were, surely it would be easier or more fun or something like that. That is not true. That's just some of us have more difficulty than others, and a lot of writers who don't suffer from any of those hang-ups, they say that, I'll hear a lot of authors say that writer's block isn't real, and kind of disparaging people who say that it is, and I think that's really, I don't know, I think that's really unkind because they don't know what other people struggle with, and there's a lot of things that can be called writer's block, and one of the things is just having issues, like paralyzing issues with perfectionism, and it's not something that you can get rid of. You can just learn how to work with it and learn how to make yourself, learn how to, manage the brain that you have. And so finishing things, when you start something and it's very exciting, and then it gets less exciting or less, the bloom wears off, you're laughing like this has maybe happened before. So I think the most important thing is to develop the ability to re-inspire yourself on the project you're working on. Instead of getting a new shiny idea that's unrelated, make yourself get new ideas for the project you're working on that makes you excited about it again. And I have to do that constantly over and over. When I get to a point in my book where I'm not sure what could happen next, or I'm like losing my enthusiasm a little bit, I just have to stop and brainstorm things that could happen next that will get me excited again. And there's always something, but I'll make myself brainstorm like 20 things that could happen next. And sometimes you get to 3, and it's like, oh, that could work. But like you have to keep going. Even think of ridiculous things, crazy things, because you never know. And you push your imagination, you're going to come up with things you would never have come up with if you stopped at 3. And you'll go places you never thought you could go with a story and get really excited about it again. So that's the challenge: is to keep going with the story at hand, and just, even if it's short, finish it. You have to have a beginning, a middle, and an end, and get used to that. And also it feels so good to finish things that it's worth it. So yes.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
I just wondered, a lot of your books revolve around the idea of having a soul. So what is it that you find interesting about that?
What do I find interesting about the idea of a soul? I don't know, because I'm not a religious or spiritual person. I don't believe in the soul. I don't think I know, but I have never been able to believe in anything like that, actually. I just believe that we're meat animated by electricity, I guess. And that our brains are these amazing mechanisms that create a sense of soul and identity and personality and all this stuff. And that to me is like more amazing almost than the idea of a soul. But there's something narratively that is really appealing to me about, all these things that I wish I believed in, or I wish were provably true. I wish that there were souls, and that we, that endured after we died, and that it's just really fun to explore, and I'm not sure why I'm obsessed with it in that way. There's a lot of things, I think writing, one of the things about writing over long periods of time is that you learn the things that you're obsessed with or that you're fascinated by through seeing what you come up with again and again. And there's so many themes in my books that I don't know why I come back to them. I have no personal experience with them, or they're not things that I think that I'm fascinated by, but I am. So it's a good way to get to know yourself, even if it's slightly bewildering. Soul, I don't know. But I hope that I'm wrong. I hope that it's some fantastical, magical reality, but I guess we'll find out, or not. Let's see.
I did also wonder what your favourite cake is.
What's that?
I did also wonder what your favourite cake is.
What my favourite cake is? That's hard. I guess you think of every year, what kind of cake do you want for your birthday? And that would have to be a good test. So I would say either coconut or chocolate. So maybe German chocolate cake is a good. I don't know, cake is my favorite kind of cake. And I think cake is like in all my books. It's like my challenge to myself. Actually, I went to university with this guy who's in the English department, and I don't even remember his name or what he looked like. All I remember about this guy is that he challenged himself to fit the word panther into every single paper and essay that he wrote for school. And for some reason, no matter what he was writing about, he would work the word panther in there somewhere. And so I think that cake is my panther. Or it's just one of those fascinations that always slips into my books. A world without cake? No. Anybody? Thank you guys for